There's something a lot of people don't realize until they've spent years feeling emotionally empty inside a relationship. You can love someone deeply and still feel completely unseen by them. Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back to She Choose Peace. Let's talk for a moment. Because sometimes what hurts the most isn't the absence of love, it's constantly begging for the bare minimum of it, begging for communication, begging for effort, begging for emotional presence, begging to feel chosen by someone who keeps showing you that loving you well isn't something they're willing to do consistently. And the painful part is, many of us stay longer than we should because we keep hoping the version of them we needed will finally appear. Have you ever loved someone who made you feel lonely inside the relationship? Just sit with that for a moment. Because emotional loneliness can sometimes feel heavier than physical loneliness, especially when you're constantly explaining your needs, trying to communicate clearly, trying to hold the relationship together while the other person continues giving you just enough to keep you hoping, but never enough to truly feel secure. And over time, that changes you. You start questioning yourself. You start lowering your standards. You start celebrating crumbs because you've gone so long without being emotionally nourished. And one day, you realize something heartbreaking. You've spent so much time trying to convince someone to love you correctly that you stopped asking yourself why you were willing to accept so little in return. And that realization can wake something up inside of you because healing eventually teaches you that love should not feel like emotional survival. Love should not feel like begging. Love should not leave you constantly starving for reassurance, consistency, attention, or care. And yes, relationships require effort. But there's a difference between working through challenges together and carrying the emotional weight of the entire relationship alone. There's a difference between healthy compromise and slowly abandoning yourself, trying to earn the love you should never have had to beg for in the first place. And I think a lot of people, especially strong people, become so used to overgiving that they don't even realize they're emotionally starving anymore. Because survival becomes familiar, overfunctioning becomes familiar, feeling unseen becomes familiar. But familiar does not mean healthy, and peace changes that. Peace teaches you that you are allowed to stop chasing people who are comfortable watching you carry relationships alone. You are allowed to stop begging for consistency from people who only show up when it benefits them. And you are allowed to stop shrinking your needs to make emotionally unavailable people comfortable because your needs are not too much. Your desire for emotional safety, consistency, communication, presence, that is not asking for too much, that is asking for healthy love. And maybe the real healing begins when you stop asking, why couldn't they love me correctly? And start asking, why did I believe I had to beg for love at all? Because that question changes everything. And if you're at a place in your life where you're finally realizing that the bare minimum is not love. I need you to hear this clearly. You are not hard to love. You were simply trying to receive love from someone who was never emotionally equipped to give it fully. And that has nothing to do with your worth. So if this episode resonated with you, I want you to reflect on something honestly. What's one thing you should never have had to beg for? Don't overthink it. Just one word. Drop it in the comments because your voice matters here too. And if you're finally ready to stop chasing emotionally unavailable love and start rebuilding peace within yourself, you don't have to do that alone either. You can connect with me on Instagram. The link is in the description, and I'll help you take your next step with clarity and peace. Because love should not feel like emotional starvation. And this is your moment to choose peace. I'll see you in the next episode.